Should you automate your backlinking strategy? Automation is one of the things that most internet marketers are looking for. If you can automate a task, particularly a repetitive, time-consuming one, it can free up your time for other things. In this article, we're going to look at some of the pros and cons of automating your backlink building. There are a number of ways to automate your backlinks, some totally automated and others just partially so. Article submission services or applications, blog commenting applications, blog network posting, and automated link exchanges. By automating these things, you can generate backlinks on an ongoing basis without having to constantly go searching for new places to link from. The biggest drawback to these automated services is the fact that they tend to generate links from places that aren't necessarily all that valuable. Take blog networks, for example. There are a number of services, both free and paid, that have a number of blogs where you can post with backlinks to your site. Some of them will take one article you submit and post it to multiple sites, sometimes even spinning the article in the process. But many of the sites it gets posted to may have little or no value. They're often set up purely to accept these free articles, and they have no page rank and may not even be fully indexed in the search engines. Those type of links really don't give you much value. In most cases, you can choose any two of these three things: low cost, easy, and high quality. High quality links that are easy to build will cost you more money. Easy to build links that don't cost much won't be very high quality, and high quality links that don't cost much will be harder to build. Automated backlink building is often best used as one part of a larger strategy. You should continue building higher quality backlinks even though they take more time and effort, and use the automated services to supplement those links. You can even use the automated backlinking methods to build links to the pages where you're manually building links. For example, if you use article marketing as one backlinking strategy, use the automated systems to build links to your articles once they go live on the article directories. This will help increase the value of the links that point from your articles back to your own website. SEO versus conversions. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is all about getting your site ranked higher in the search engines, especially Google. There are various strategies that can help you rank higher, both on-site and off-site. But no matter how high your site ranks and how much traffic you get from the search engines, you're going to need to convert those visitors if you want to generate any revenue with your site. And by convert those visitors, we mean convince them to take whatever action it is you want them to take. Clicking on an ad, signing up for your email list, liking your page on Facebook, or buying your product, and so on. You need to balance the need for SEO against the conversion rate of your page to be successful. That means optimizing the visitor experience as well as the SEO of your pages. Don't overuse keywords on your page to the point of making it unreadable for real visitors. Keyword stuffing is one of the most common mistakes people make, and frankly, it isn't necessary anyway. Years ago, when the search engines were still relatively new, whatever site used a keyword the most times often ranked the highest, but those days are long gone. It's also a good idea to include things that make your site more sticky, like video and audio content. A sticky site simply means your visitors stay longer, and these types of content will help. The search engines can identify when someone clicks on your site and then goes back and clicks on a different one. If that happens too much, it's quite likely that it will impact your ranking, and not in a good way. So adding things that keep people engaged can ultimately help both your conversions and your SEO. You can also look at the conversion process as a multi-step strategy. The page that your visitors land on when they click on your site in the search results could be the first step in the process, perhaps convincing them to opt into your email list or click through to another page on your site. Once you get them beyond the initial page, you can focus much more on the conversion aspect and less on SEO, since it doesn't matter how high those pages rank or if they do at all. The only page that needs to rank highly is the landing page they hit when they first click through. Is Google the only search engine that matters? When people talk about SEO and natural search traffic, they're generally referring to Google. It gets the largest percentage of search traffic out of the major search engines, but should you focus purely on Google or spread your efforts out across all the different search engines? Google has held roughly 65% of the overall market share for search pretty consistently for the last year or more. Yahoo and Bing, the two main competitors, are both under 20%. On the surface, this would indicate that you should focus on Google for your search traffic. Those numbers don't tell the whole story, however. The search market share can vary from one market to another. It's not a hard and fast rule, but in general, Google tends to be used by searchers who are more tech savvy. So in markets that have more technical users, Google's market share can be high, even higher than the overall numbers. But in less technical markets, Bing and Yahoo often have higher shares than they do overall. This is particularly true for Bing because it's the default search engine for Windows users. There are a lot of people who just use whatever's included by default, so they use Bing. Another factor that you should consider is that putting all your eggs in one basket is never a good idea. Google is notoriously fickle when it comes to changing things, and even if your site is ranking well today, there's no guarantee it will continue. One little change in Google's algorithm could cause your rankings to plunge. If you focus on Bing and Yahoo to some degree at least, you'll have alternative sources of traffic if that ever happens. It's also important to consider some of the changes that have happened on the internet over the last couple of years. Sites like Facebook and Twitter have become extremely popular, and many people spend a large percentage of their time on them, particularly on Facebook. While these sites aren't search engines, they can still be very effective for driving traffic to your websites. And because they're harder to game due to their social nature, they're being used as a ranking factor by the search engines. By focusing some of your efforts on these sites, you can get the benefits in Google and other search engines while still diversifying your traffic strategy somewhat. Is article spinning an effective SEO strategy? Article spinning is the process of rewriting an article on a large scale. You go through your seed article and mark it up with synonyms and rewritten sentences. Then the spinner software generates any number of unique versions from that seed article. This process has been around for several years, but it has improved considerably over that time. There are still two camps, however, people who think it works great and people who hate it. In this article, we're going to look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of article spinning. The main reason people like article spinning is because it makes it possible to generate dozens or even hundreds of somewhat unique articles from a single seed article. How effective and how unique those spins are really comes down to how much time and effort you put into creating the seed article in the first place. If you use an article spinner application that automates the process, you'll tend to get mediocre results. If you spin your seed article manually, on the other hand, and really put some effort into creating multiple versions that are all readable when spun, you can get articles that are all quite unique and still perfectly acceptable quality. Let's say it takes you 2 hours to do a really thorough spin on a 400-word article. That means you create multiple versions of sentences as well as individual words and nest them effectively so when you generate a spun version there are enough options that it can be quite unique. You might think that 2 hours is a lot of time to spend on it, but the fact is you can probably generate several dozen really unique articles from that one seed. How long would it take you to write or even rewrite that many articles? Once you have those unique spins, you can use them for various things. Posting on sites like Squidoo and Hub Pages, submitting to second-tier article directories, posting to blog networks, or sending out through article submission services or software. These will all create multiple backlinks to your website, all from a single seed article. If you do this on a regular basis, even once or twice a month, you can have enough content to generate new backlinks to your site for quite some time. How to optimize WordPress for the best SEO results. WordPress is a popular platform for building websites because it makes the process so easy. WordPress handles all the formatting and layout of your site so you can focus on the content. But the default setup isn't very well optimized for the search engines. In this article, we're going to discuss some ways to improve the SEO on your WordPress-based sites. Privacy settings. The first thing you should do is check the privacy settings in the WordPress admin dashboard. You can choose whether or not to make the site visible to the search engines. If the wrong option is set, your site won't be indexed or ranked. The default setting is to make the site visible to the search engines, but it's still a good idea to double check. If this isn't set right, nothing else we're going to cover will matter. Permalinks. The next change you should make is to the permalink structure. By default, WordPress uses a pretty unfriendly URL structure. Your posts and pages will show up as something like www.mydomain.com /?ID equals and then some number. There's no keywords included in the URL, and there's some debate about how effective the search engines are at even indexing sites with these type of URLs. Instead, you should change the permalink structure to include keywords. You can make this change in the permalink setting page and set it to something like what's shown on the screen here. This will use the title of your post as the URL for the page. For example, if your post title is My First Post, the URL would be mydomain.com/myfirstpost. This will ensure that you get the keywords in your URL, assuming that you use them in the post title. SEO plugins. Another important step to improving the SEO on your site is installing an SEO WordPress plugin. There are several of them available, but the most commonly used plugin is called All-in-One SEO. This plugin will optimize the HTML tags on each page, title tag, meta tags, and so on, using the post title and the content of the post itself. You can override these settings manually if you want to really optimize each page, but even the default settings are a huge improvement over the default setup for WordPress. And take note, some premium themes, such as Thesis, have SEO features built into them. If you're using one of these themes, there's no need to install a plugin. In fact, doing so can cause conflicts between the theme SEO and the plugin SEO, so you're better to leave it up to the theme in this case.